Marshall Peak, Chapter 7. Breaking through stages is like being reborn. Although Yang Kai is only 15 this year, due to his experiences these past 3 years, he is far more mature than his peers. It is also because of this that he forged this unyielding character. So when he calmed down sitting on his bed, he carefully read the first page. After confirming that no extra things were popping out of the first page, he started reading the second page. With his previous experiences, his actions seemed more natural and knowledgeable. And then Yang Kai's eyes slowly widened as golden words emerged on the dark pages. Proud golden body. Tempered body record. Previously, his mood had dropped, but now it soared. Sure enough, as he suspected, every page had something hidden. Almost without thinking, Yang Kai's entire mind was focused on the book's second page. Abruptly, the golden characters flew off the pages like a fish and swiftly drilled themselves into Yang Kai's brain. The glow enveloped the darkness around him and then disappeared. After it was gone, he felt as if his brain had gained new information. This had all come from the golden characters. Calming his heart, Yang Kai closed his eyes and began to digest the information. In fact, he didn't need to digest and absorb the information. When the characters imprinted themselves into his brain, he could easily comprehend their meaning. A complete mastery in another sense. This is the tempered body record. Yang Kai muttered, for he found that it was a fist technique. Though it may seem simple, in reality it was not. There were strict requirements, for it is incredibly profound. To cultivate it, you must face the rising sun in the east to learn it. So, at most, you could only practice for half an hour daily. It was night, so he had to wait at least 5 to 6 hours to start. This frustrated Yang Kai, for he had exerted himself all day and only eaten one measly sweet potato. Nonetheless, he had obtained a priceless treasure and was jubilant. After trying to sleep for half an hour, he analyzed the third page of the black book, but it just let him down. No matter how much he checked and flipped, the page had no changes. While doing this, he fell asleep. When Yang Kai then woke up, it was nearly sunrise. The pre-dawn darkness was clouded and stillness covered the whole area, with the occasional insect and bird noises. With his heart looking forward to what would happen, Yang Kai quickly leapt out of bed and went to the front of the cabin. Standing there, he took a few deep breaths and slowly relaxed his body. Oriental? A touch of gray dawn appeared, and then he opened his eyes. The instructions on the first technique were practiced countless, hundreds of times. His hands are shaped into a palm, with a gentle, slow movement pushing forward to the left and right. Embracing the world in his mind, everything in between the palm, the vast land, and even the air covering the moon and stars. Left foot forward, right next to the horizon. The right foot stepped powerfully like the underworld king. The world was full of vitality between breaths like spring flowers blooming. The autumn wind blew like a golden message. Then the cold wind whistled by, signaling the coming of snow, ice-cold snow. Yang Kai's look gradually deepened, his fists pressing on the big rocks slowly. In any case, the rock didn't hint at opening soon. With a burst of sound, Yang Kai, with a pale face, suddenly staggered and nearly fell to his knees. While exercising countless times in his mind, he discovered that this art was a whole fist. Yang Kai never expected this record actually contained such a mysterious quenching body technique. For just that short while, Yang Kai felt that the entire world was weighing on his shoulders, but he also thought that he could sense all things in the world under this pressure. This quenching body record was not the practice of fist techniques. It was the practice of worldly transformation and the fate of the world. This practice was full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows. A slow punch and kick-in could affect heaven and earth's power, but it was also full of secret rules. When he launched 6 palms, it took 3 steps. This result wasn't even 1% of the result recorded in the book. Just that had been not easy to sustain. Then a crack emitted from his spine, making him believe that he had broken his spine. He quickly inspected it, but only found his back in pain. It wasn't anything significant. Stealing his mind, Xianxia again started to practice according to the tempered body record. Because he wasn't psychologically prepared, Xianxia's mind was in a trance. Feeling unclear, he held his breath to regain apparent sanity. Accompanied by a slow dance of his fists, Xianxia once again felt his mind had become clear and recovered the atmosphere required to continue. Then his body emitted several indistinct feelings. Xianxia was uncertain about what they were. Not only that, but with the routine deployment, his fist was heavier, like at the bottom of the ocean. With more hardships, there were more improvements. Kaka could be heard. Xianxia's every action made his bones explode like firecrackers. Excruciating pain permeated throughout his body, but he was unmoved. His tenacity at this moment vividly appeared. In the blink of an eye, Xianxia felt his hands and feet tremble like they were beaten to a pulp. It was like heaven and earth both imposed themselves on his body. "Persisting," he continued. Suddenly a warmth surged, alleviating the pain within his body. Spirits lifted, and he restarted practice. He knew this must have been due to the integration of the golden skeleton. After all, both of these things came from the same place. A sweating young man stood in front of the sun, rising near a cabin in a remote school place, diligently practicing slow fists and discovering his future. Half an hour passed when Xianxia suddenly felt light. He no longer felt the heavy pressure on his body. Right at this moment, he could no longer continue cultivating this skill. The record was clear. You could only cultivate for half an hour daily at sunrise. His effort drained him. Thus, Xianxia fell to the ground in a heap and took a deep breath. A surge of purple gas accompanied his breath and disappeared. In an instant, he felt refreshed and energized. Looking distracted, he couldn't help but be shocked. Atmosphere sense. He had already developed an understanding of the atmosphere. Has he broken through the tempered body, 3rd stage, and entered the 4th stage? This news made him satisfied. Since entering Sky Tower, it took 3 years of practicing to reach the 3rd stage. But after 30 minutes of practicing, the mysterious quenching body technique had let him break through and enter the 4th stage. The tempered body had 9 stages. Until the 3rd stage, it enhanced one's physical capabilities. But after the 4th stage, it would generate a presence within the meridians. Only with the birth of atmosphere sense are you considered a true cultivator. Although you will have the atmosphere sense now, the body will still have no real strength. You could only wait for the 7th stage, where the body will develop its power, until the 9th stage. That is when the body breaks through and opens, creates a door to strength to the Kai Yuan boundary. Only then will you truly have power. Kai Yuan boundary is a true warrior's start. Everything in the tempered body territory was laying the foundations for the future of the Kai Yuan boundary. This foundation was not finalized, like with a man's strength. For your bones, the skin will grow until you reach the peak. Xianxia had just entered the 4th stage and obtained atmosphere sense. To outsiders, this may not seem like much, but to him it was great news and progress.